It happened so fast. One moment, I was walking through the city like I had done 100 times before, grocery list in hand, mind already halfway back home. And then I looked up, and there he was, Zion. After nearly 2 decades, he was standing across the street. He didn't see me at first. He was with a man I didn't recognize, laughing. He looked older, but not tired. His hair was shorter, his posture straighter. But that smile, that same soft curve on his lips, it hit me like a wave. Time stopped. The world fell silent. And all I could hear was the sound of my own heart shattering. I didn't know what to do. My hands trembled. My feet froze. And for a moment, I actually considered running away, like a coward. Because how do you face someone you once loved? Someone you never stopped loving, when you now belong to someone else? But before I could turn, he saw me, and everything in his face changed. His smile faded. His steps slowed. His eyes, those same eyes I had memorized in my youth, they were staring right into me again, and I was no longer a wife, a mother, a grown woman. I was 17 again. Shaking, breathless, and completely in love. We stood like that for a long time. Just staring. The world kept moving. People walked past. Cars honked. Life carried on, but we were frozen in a moment that didn't belong to this timeline. Finally, he crossed the street. I couldn't speak. I was scared. If I did, I would cry. Or worse, say everything I had buried for 20 years. Hey, he said. That was all just hey. And somehow, that single word unraveled everything I had built inside me. Zion, I breathed. He smiled. A little awkward. A little sad. We stood close now. Too close. He noticed the ring on my hand. I saw his eyes drop to it, just for a second, and I wanted to hide it. I don't know why. But I did. Do you live nearby? He asked. I nodded.
Yeah.
With my husband. Kids. His smile faltered, then he nodded. That's really good. I'm happy for you. He didn't sound happy. And I hated how much that comforted me. We sat down at a nearby cafe. It was too quiet. Too polite. He asked about my life. I gave short, safe answers. Then I asked about his. He had returned to visit his mother. She was ill. He had taken a job abroad, never married. He traveled often. Had no one waiting back home, and I hated myself for the way that lit a spark in my chest. We talked for almost an hour. But nothing was said, not the real things. Not the aching things, not the, I waited for you. Not the, why didn't you come back? Only surface level updates until finally, he asked, did you ever get my letters? Letters, I stared at him. What letters? His brows furrowed. I wrote to you. A few times, after I left. I even emailed. I called, but I shook my head. I never got any letters, Zion. He looked broken. I wrote you things I never told anyone. I waited for your replies. My heart sank, and just like that, it all made sense. The silence. The absence. The unanswered longing. His messages were lost. Or maybe intercepted. Deleted. Unsent. Who knows, but the damage was done. We had both been waiting. While time was stealing our chance. I felt tears in my eyes. But I blinked them away, because this wasn't the place. And this wasn't the time. I was someone else's wife. And he was the man who almost was. We said
Goodbye.
that day with a hug that lasted longer than it should have, and when he pulled away, he whispered, I'm glad you found someone who stayed. I always hoped you would. It hurt more than anything else, because I had found someone who stayed. But I had never stopped waiting for the one who left.